And I want to introduce our very good friend who has helped us in so many ways, but particularly during this crisis, Chairman Darrell Issa.
Thank you, Eleanor. And thank you, Mayor, for coming here to the Senate grounds today. As Eleanor Holmes-Norton said more eloquently than I will, this is in fact an issue that absolutely spans the normal partisan behavior. Our committee, on a unanimous basis, voted for an expanded D.C. autonomy, a change in the Home Rule Act, and a prevention of this exact kind of event. And we look forward to moving it in the full House. We voted unanimously in the House of Representatives to free, that's Republicans and Democrats, to free the budget and the funds held by Mayor Gray and the City Council to the benefit of the people of the district. As someone who, when I'm here in Washington, lives in the district, I cannot help but notice that your license plates say no taxation without representation. Perhaps they should say, federal government, don't tread on me instead. The fact is that representation of your taxes is essentially what we have before us today. These are taxes paid by the people of the District of Columbia to the district, the city government. These are your money, which are entrusted to your elected officials, and in fact have never gone round trip to Washington to these buildings. And in fact, always at the end of the day, 100% ends up being spent in the district. So to hold it back, when Ms. Norton said so well, the President supports it in his budget. The Senate supports it in their appropriation, and the House has passed unanimously legislation, misses two important points. First, this is not appropriations. This is not the subject of the argument. It is neither the Affordable Care Act nor is it appropriations. It is an item that has simply been caught in the middle of otherwise very difficult problems to solve. And secondly, no one can deny, not just on this, but on additional monies that may be needed by the city in the coming days. In times of great strife, more than anything, the federal government needs to show that we can work together on those issues that do not divide us. And the federal city, this great capital, is an issue that unites us. It has united our committee for many, many years, and in fact, it united the House to make a nonpartisan vote, and an important one. I join with the mayor and the city council and with Congresswoman Norton in making it clear we consider this something that is outside the argument because we have said essential personnel shall be maintained. Out of 2.1 million federal workers, only 400,000 are out. Well, every worker and every citizen of the District of Columbia needs to be counted as essential. Now, even though the actions that need to take place are in a democratically controlled Senate and with a Democratic president, let us understand that, in fact, this is not the creation of Republicans or Democrats. This is a problem unrelated to the city. But we have a number of areas we want to solve. And for everyone that's here today, this is an important first step because Leader Reid, by allowing this vote and allowing it to be voted broadly, if not unanimously in the Senate, makes a statement about budget autonomy, something that the last referendum made clear is to the hearts and minds of almost 600,000 residents of the city. And that's an important step to be said in support of budget autonomy. Lastly, this is not the only time that Ms. Norton and the mayor and members of the council are going to be in front of you talking about important things that need to happen. In the days leading up to this, the mayor and I have talked constantly about the city picking up trash in federal parks because we're not picking them up with federal dollars, but they're causing real sanitation and rodent problems for the district. And I thank the mayor for his proactive work. And I look forward, the moment this shutdown is over or in the final agreement to end the shutdown, for Ms. Norton and I to to make sure the city gets fully compensated for the money you're spending now. Additionally, I'm sending a letter to the president, and I hope, and I think Ms. Norton and I will probably send it jointly. The letter is going to ask the president to allow as many of the parks throughout the District of Columbia to be reopened with the city taking a principal role. Certainly the mall is contentious, and I look forward to working with the president on that. But all of you who live and work in the district know that almost on every few blocks there's a park. That park looks like a normal city park and often has a playground or a tennis court. But in fact, they are federal parks. And they are closed today, and they're closed to the residents of the District of Columbia, and they need to be opened. So there are a number of issues. There are issues that do not divide our committee with Eleanor Holmes-Norton and myself, and they do not divide the Republican, Democrat, and independent members of your city council and, in fact, your mayor. So I stand with the city here today in asking respectfully for the Senate to realize this should not be a partisan issue. It cannot be held as a partisan issue. I will push to make sure every Republican Senate supports this if Leader Reid will just bring it to the floor. Thank you.